Yeah, welcome back to the conversation on News Central Television. On Monday, October the 2nd, today, the United Nations Security Council is set to vote on a resolution aimed at deploying a multinational force led by Kenya to Haiti. This force will be tasked with combating gangs and restoring security in the troubled nation. The proposed deployment is planned for January 2024, with a one-year authorization period and a review after 9 months. Several Caribbean nations, including Jamaica and the Bahamas, have expressed their readiness to support this mission alongside Kenya. The force is expected to consist of officers from Kenya's National Police Service and receive logistical support from the United States government. Now, joining me for this discussion this evening is retired Brigadier General Ahamed Mohammed, a senior advisor, Defense and Security, Horn Institute of Strategic Studies in Nairobi. Joins us live from New York in the United States of America. A warm welcome to you, General Mohammed, and thanks for joining us on the conversation.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me.
Now, General Mohammed, could you elaborate on the geopolitical factors that influence Kenya's decision to lead a multinational force in Haiti? I mean, looking at the geographical location of these two nations, they're thousands of miles apart. What's in it for Kenya, and how does this align with Kenya's foreign policy objectives?
Well, thank you very much and good evening. This actually falls very much within our foreign policy. And remember that Kenya has long in the past been involved in UN peacekeeping, both at the international and the regional level, where, for instance, we are in Somalia today under the AU mission, whereas in other missions in the world, they have come under the UN. And therefore, our role in now is very much within our foreign policy and in line with our desire for national peace and security globally.
Now, General Mohammed, the security situation in Haiti is quite complex and volatile. You're dealing with gangs, not a militia like Al-Shabaab, and terrorists that the Kenyan Defense Forces and Kenyan police might have been familiar with dealing with. How has Kenya assessed the risk and challenges associated with deploying its forces in such an environment? Do you think they've done their homework before taking this decision, a thorough assessment of the risk and challenges?
Kenya indeed has been involved in much more complex situations. As you mentioned, Al-Shabaab is much more difficult, in Somalia. Indeed, I want to assure you that we are well prepared for this. And what gives us that element of strength and morale is a function for which we have been called in. You haven't been called in to fight what you may call the rebel groups or in the country. Our role is very clear. Number one, the security of strategic installations. Number two, the training of Haitian police. And number three is to work with them towards achieving peace in that country. You're not going for war fighting per se as it is. No, they're coming in to assist where we are required. And in doing that, therefore, we have requested that we come in under a UN mandate, and indeed under Chapter 7 mandate, where if need be, we can use force where necessary.
Now, staying with you, General Mohammed, critics often said that, this is some sort of geopolitical game going on, and, imperialist forces are only using Kenya to carry out their wishes in Haiti, that, Kenya, that charity does start at home, and Kenya has its own national security issues to deal with, especially with Al-Shabaab in its border areas with Kenya. How do you respond to them? How do you respond to this sort of comment saying that, it's not like Kenya has finished dealing with its own security issues? Why do they propose sending 1,000 troops thousands of miles away to help another country that is not even part of the African Union?
Let me make it very clear first that Kenya, using her own police force, has managed to bring about order in Kenya. And we have no serious challenges now in terms of our own population. The only challenge is Al-Shabaab, which we are dealing with from across the borders. Now, coming to Haiti, we must understand that, yes, very far, across the oceans, yes, indeed, different situations, yes, indeed, but Kenya did not ask to come in. Kenya was requested by partners to come in. And one of the key issues is the fact that we normally say in peacekeeping, neighbors are not the best in handling situations in their region. The best is to bring neutral forces from elsewhere who have no interest can come in and help solve this situation. The situation now is very, very critical, very crucial, and very complex and unique. Remember that it is indeed what you may call coalition of the willing. It's very complex. We have partners who are giving us forces from elsewhere. We have, we have partners coming to join us in terms of the police force. We have partners who are providing the funds, and we have the UN providing the mandate. I agree with you, very complex, but indeed I can assure you, responding to the call from partners, responding from the calls from the Haiti government, Kenya is willing and able to play its role rightfully in helping provide order in Haiti.
Now, General Mohammed, having served personally when you were in active service as a member of the Kenyan Defense Forces, you did participate in a number of peacekeeping operations with the Blue Berets, the United Nations. Now, Kenya has proposed sending 1,000 police officers. Could you provide insights into what this selection process might be like and the specific qualifications that these officers possess to handle this sort of mission effectively?
Well, let me make it very clear that Kenya's composition of the police force comes in about 4 different components. We have the regular police force, we have the administration police, we have the general service unit, and we have the CID. Out of this, the most combatant and prepared for such situations is the general service unit, who actually are prepared for such situations in dealing with crisis and all, not normal policing duties. They are there for crisis. The bulk of this force, therefore, from Kenya will come from the very prepared, very able general service unit, who I can assure you will provide the service as required in handling and dealing with the situation.
Now, General Mohammed, the United States has pledged significant logistical and financial support for Kenya's mission in Haiti. How do you foresee this support impacting the mission's success and sustainability? And what sort of support do you think the Kenyan mission might need in effectively carrying out its mandate?
There's no doubt that this is a very complicated and dangerous mission. Very difficult indeed in all respects. And we are going in to a country where you have major opposition from the opposition sides in the country. And therefore, the fact that we are coming under a UN Chapter 7 mandate requires that we come well armed, we come with the appropriate security equipments, we come with the APCs, and therefore the need always to ensure that we have air support, both in terms of operations and in terms of survival. Now, Kenya has put it very clearly to our partners that in doing this, we must be very well supported, initially in terms of funding, but also in terms of equipment as and when required. And I'm sure the partners who have called us in will definitely be on standby and be on call to provide whatever resources may be required in terms of further support. You have no doubt in that.
Now, General Mohammed, as someone that is, yes. Okay.
I want to just to add on that.
Okay, go ahead, please. Go ahead, please.
Remember very clearly that Kenya was requested. Kenya didn't say, we are there. Somebody came and knocked our door and said, we need you, support us. And therefore, in coming in saying, yes, we are ready, we have come, we have thought about it seriously, and indeed consider the difficult situation of the situation in Haiti. And therefore, our feeling that, yes, we have a role to play, and we'll play it right as required as national players.
Now, talking about the role the Kenyan police would play, in your view, what role can Kenya play in building the capacity of Haiti's national police? And how does that fit into the broader security goal of the mission? How would you rate the professionalism of the Kenyan police force? Because oftentimes they've been accused of humanitarian abuses and high-handedness, and we recently witnessed that in the cost of living protest that shook the country in the past few weeks, in the recent past.
Well, let me say it from the outset that the Kenyan police force is very professional, very well trained, and all are career officers. We have no room for reserves and all that. They are all well prepared, all set and good to go. And in fact, they have taken part in a number of UN missions as individual police officers. It's only that this time they're going in as a formed police unit. And as I said earlier, we have no doubt in terms of their level of training. We have no doubt in terms of their undertaking this mandate. You mentioned about the issues back home. Yes, the issues back home are situations where you try and control the situation normally in the best way possible. But just for any other government, the situation will go out of hand. The police must come in and do every means possible to bring back order. That's what they have done. They have never intimidated. They've never gone out of their way. But if need be, I'll say this seriously, if need be, they'll go out of their way to ensure that the task at hand is delivered as required.
Now, General, as we begin to wrap up on this conversation, we can't talk about this without looking at the mood in Kenya, the domestic mood. What kind of public and political support has Kenya garnered domestically for its participation in this multinational force deployment? Are the people happy about this? What's the opposition saying? And how does this support, if it does have the support, how does this support factor into the decision-making process?
Well, in such situations where we have to send our forces outside our borders, while the final say is the president, the process will first have to go through parliament and get that constitutional approval. And I have no doubt that parliament will pass this when the time comes. And then it goes to the president, who gives the final signature to endorse this. Once the parliament has passed this, well, essentially, the representatives of the people, I have no doubt the people will support this. Definitely, we will not be surprised to have a positive voice from the opposition. Yes, that is order. In a democratic government, the opposition has the right to put in their point. But once we receive the consensus from parliament, which I see forthcoming, then we have that legitimacy to go out as a government and the support of parliament and our people. I have no doubt in that.
Finally, General Mohammed, considering the evolving security situation in Haiti, how adaptable and responsive is Kenya's strategy to this mission? And what mechanisms are in place for regular reassessment and adjustment? And in your own opinion, what would you consider a yardstick for success? At what point would you say, mission accomplished? The Kenyan deployment has done a fantastic job. How would you rate the success of this deployment?
Well, in doing this, let me make it very clear that Kenya is not going for war fighting. Kenya has been called in to assist. And in doing that, we have three key functions. One is the security of strategic installations, the airports, the camps that are there, the industries that are there, the government offices that are there. That is very clear. And that does not involve actually dealing directly with the opposing sides. The second one is the training of the Haitian forces, police forces. Now, again, that is not really bringing us in close contact with the actual warring parties in this field. Remember, it's very clear, the actual security in dealing with the population is left with the Haitian police. So for us, really, our function remains in terms of our measurements. How have we done in securing those key strategic installations against threats from those other partners? How have we played our role in terms of training the Haitian forces? How have we, therefore, in all that they've contributed to bring about peace and stability in Haiti? As always, this is a UN mandate. After every quarter, we'll review where we are. Every 6 months, we'll review where we are. And in that 1 year, we'll take stock and adjust accordingly those situations that may change or call for further action.
Thank you so much, retired Brigadier General Ahmed Mohammed, Senior Advisor to Defense and Security Studies at the Horn Institute for Strategic Studies, joining us live from New York. We do appreciate your time and insight. Thank you very much, and we do wish the Kenyan Police Contingent a successful mission. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sam. Thank you for having me.